This video is about Venn diagrams. It's going through a few different questions on Venn diagrams and just checking out ready for your exams, okay? So key few things, you're going to see a U or an N when it's telling you to shade them. If it's a U, that it means either. So if it happens in one of them or the other one, then you have to shade it on your diagram. If it's an N, it means both. So it's kind of like only if it happens in both of them as you go on, then you need to shade it. The other thing I would give you a bit of information is the fact that you'll be given some questions where it's like 25 people play basketball or 12 people play football, but there's only like 20 people in total. This must mean that someone who plays basketball is also playing football, but I'll show you a few examples of those just so you've got an idea as well. Here's the first question. Okay, so again, as we go through these videos, if you want to pause it, do it yourself, and then I'm just going to go through the questions of how to do it. Okay, few things with this first thing. This is basically just saying the set that it is, so don't worry about that little sign on the outside. Here we've got a comment. A comma means that it doesn't happen. So it's basically saying not be. That means or, so if it happens in either. So all I'm going to do is just draw out the first scenarios myself, and I tend to draw two individual ones just so I've got an idea. So this one is just A happening and this one is not B happening. So I'm just going to change the color for this just so you can see it. So the fact of A happening would be this whole section right there, and not B would be everything that wasn't B. There we go. And there we go. Because it's the or, so as long as it's shaded in one, I have to shade it. So I'm going to be shading every single thing going across here. Very pretty. There we go. So that would be the not B. She takes a lot longer doing this. And then remembering I have to also do A. So A in this case would just be adding in that little shaded part. Perfect. Very artistic there. Okay, so this one is a little bit different. So I would be drawing three diagrams for this one, but most of you might know what A and B is straight away. A and B is actually meaning that happens in A and B, so it's only going to be that section in the middle, but it's saying not A and B, so essentially the outside. But say, for instance, you're completely clueless and you're in the exam and you're panicking. So the first thing you do is draw your normal diagrams, like so, and get your shade on. So the fact of A happening is this section, the fact B happening is this section. So then I know straight away, well, actually, I can draw it now. So the fact of A and B, there we go, so that's A and B, would be this in between section. So not, because remember that means not A and B, so it's the opposite of that. So then essentially what we're doing is shading everything that's not that middle. And it doesn't have to be amazing when you're shading these, just make sure you do not shade the inside bit. There we go. That'll do. Next two questions, okay, so let's have a look. So pause the screen if you need to, and I'm going to carry on. So again, I draw my two little diagrams, and this is just to make sure that I'm happy in the exam. It doesn't matter if you're you don't draw these because you're confident with them. It's just a method if you're at that stage in your exam, you're tired and you're not sure what you're doing. So A, there we go, shaded in. So that's A. And this one is not B. So not B is going to be that outside part. Everything that isn't A. There we go. This time we've got and n, so it means it has to happen in both. So if we look at these, the only thing that is shaded in both is just this section by here, because everything else is only shaded in one of them, so it has to be shaded in both. Here we go. So the next question we've got, the Venn diagram shows an element, number of elements in each region. Write down the value of A, U, and basically not B. First thing I'm going to do here is draw out my diagrams, just so I know which bit I'm covering. I know it's the same as the last ones, but it's just that repetition of just carrying on. And again, it doesn't need to be perfect. It's just for your benefit. You don't get any marks for this, by the way, so please don't do it like perfect. It's just to help you. And then not be perfect. And this time it's all. So I'm just going to grab a different colour because that colour is awful to see. So as it's all, I need to do oh, there we go. And there we go. So all of them. Write down the value of n. Go. So it's everything apart from the 5, isn't it? So 7 plus 4 is 11 plus the 3 is 14. And there you go. Right, next question we've got. Place the whole numbers, basically 1 to 10, into the diagram. So first of all, let's start with what happens in the middle. Is there anything that goes in the middle? Well, multiples of 5, we've only got 5 and 10, so no. And straight away then we can say that there's nothing going to be in the middle because there's no factors of 24 there. So top part, I've got odd numbers, which is 5. And multiples of 10 are by here. Factors of 24, so I've got 1, 3, anything else? I'm just going to cross them off as I go. 3, I've done 5, and I've done 10. 8 is, but it's not an odd number, but it just goes in by here. 4 again is in this section, and I didn't write 6, so 6 is also there. And we go and 8 done, and then we just got 7 and 9 by there, and 2 on the outside. Says find the probability that the number selected is an odd number. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1 over 2 or 5 over 10. An odd number, that is a factor of 24. So that's 2 over 10 or 1 over 5. Not a multiple of 5 and not a multiple of 24. Well, that only leaves us with 1, 2, 3, so 3 over 10. There you go. Okay, so these are the last questions we've got. So out of 50 people surveyed, 30 have a brother, 25 have a sister, and 6 neither have a brother or sister. So straight away at this moment in time, I know these do not add up to 50, and this is one of our clues. So 30 have a brother, that means that whole circle needs to equal to 30. 25 have a sister, so that whole circle has to be 25. 6 neither have a brother or sister. I can write that in straight away. So what I'm going to do then is just work out how many things I have, well, how many people I have left, which is 44. Now, essentially, if I add my 30 and my 25, that gives me 55. And I can work out how much the overlap is by doing 55 take away the 44, which should leave you with 11. Once you've done that, that's your middle section sorted. And now we can just work out what the difference is. So we've got 19 for this. So 19 plus 11 gives us 30. And 11 plus 14 gives us 25. And that's how you do that one. Similar to this one. So it's, again, 40 students were surveyed, 20 have been to France, 15 have been to Spain, and 10 have been to France and Spain. So I can write that in straight away. If 20 have been to France, that leaves me with 10 left over. If 15 have been to Spain, I've got 5 there. Add up what I've got and make sure then you have anything remaining in this outside section. So that's 25 in total, so I know I've got 15 more. And there we go, all done. Well, I hope that helped. And there you go. Good luck.